Do you like traveling the world with a 40-pound backpack right here?
No, who likes that? How about staying in luxury apartments across the globe?
Well, whatever it is, we're going to talk about that and whatever else may be your travel style on this WorldTowning 101. Check it out. Okay. So what to consider when considering, what to consider when considering.
So when we say travel style, what do you think of? Like cute tank tops, yoga pants, the perfect shoes? Is that the first thing that comes to mind?
Or is it having just someone serve you all the time? By the way, I'm Will.
I'm Jessica.
And we are WorldTowning, and today's WorldTowning 101, we're going to talk about the travel styles that are out there and which ones would fit you the best.
And we're not talking about fashion. We're talking about where you want to lay your head each night, how you want to lay it, what kind of comfort level do you want, what is your travel style.
But first, let's talk about our style. What we like to call our traveling style, at least what's been our traveling style for the last almost three years.
But I'm just going to throw in a little bit here. We're changing our travel style, but more on that later.
Actually, a lot on that later.
Yeah, a lot on that later, and a big change.
So stick around because we'll tell you how we're mixing things up. But right now, what we normally do is that we find a location and we sit there for about 9 months, 10 months, and we find an apartment fully decked out.
Yeah, fully furnished, internet, utilities included, walking distance to town and whatever we need to do. And that's been pretty much our travel style that has been our travel style for almost 3 years now. And we like it.
And we do like it. And what that gives us is the opportunity to get truly immersed in one location, check out the culture,
make local friends, eat the food, learn the language, or in our case, butcher the language.
And really get to a point where we, number one, want to leave when we're ready to go, and number two, miss it after we've left.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we've built those deep roots. But what we do is get an Airbnb, and with that, then everything's included, and it's very seamless because you walk in and you walk out without one single care in terms of setting up a utility, setting up internet. It's
you bring
all
your bags,
there for you.
You bring your bags, and you leave with your bags, and you clean a little bit in between. And that's about it.
And that's about it.
And that's pretty much our travel style.
But there's other travel styles out there, and we need to talk about those now because this may not be the only way for you. There's other ways.
Right. Some really cool ways. So we've narrowed it down to 4 types of travel style that we think, or we feel, we see most people doing. There are many subcategories, but we've kind of narrowed it down to these 4.
These are the big topics, basically, the big areas of travel and travel styles that you usually find in today's travelers.
And before we start, I just want you to think about 1, we are currently doing, and 2, we are debating between which one to do. So let's see if you can figure out which one it is.
We still don't know yet.
We're on the fence, and we're going to need your help in the weeks coming forward. So help us out, please, because we're struggling.
All right, number 1.
Number 1 is camper van, motorhome, RV, caravan, whatever you want to call it. Every country calls it something different.
House on wheels.
House on wheels, basically house on wheels. And you drive wherever you need to go with your house, and that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. It's almost the equivalent of being on a cruise ship, but you don't have a captain or waitstaff or
water or
a $500 million cruise ship with a spa and everything else.
Or the buffet, but it's very similar.
Right.
Right?
Your cabin's pretty much the same size as the RV.
That's true. I think the cabin might be the cabin on the cruise ship might be bigger than an RV.
It has a balcony.
It does have a balcony.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen RVs that have balconies now, though.
Okay, we're talking about RVs.
We're getting off topic. So that's number 1 of travel style. Number 2.
Number 2 is backpacking. So you get to have a chance. There's two basic ways to backpack. Number 1 is you grab a backpack, a tent, and you just take off.
Grassroots in it, baby.
And the world is your oyster because nothing's holding you back.
And any patch of grass or pavement you find is your home for the night.
And that's kind of nice.
It is. It's freeing.
I don't know. Well,
someday we'll probably do that, right?
Maybe when the kids are older.
Okay.
We'll do that. And then the second part is where you're taking your backpack and you're just traveling around. For instance, you're couch surfing, where you get to stay in someone's place as an invited guest, and you get to exchange stories and really get to know the local culture and the environment. I'm really excited to do this.
We haven't done it yet, and we're dying to do it. We are really dying to do it. There's hostels, right?
There's hostels. There's
Airbnb.
woofing.
There's woofing.
There's woofing, where you get to stay on a farm and help out the local farmer,
volunteer,
and in exchange for a place to stay and some food. It's not really lucrative in terms of a way to earn income, but it's a great way to see the world.
Yeah.
And what else can you do?
Hotels. You can hotel
it, but that's backpacking. So it's basically everything you own right here,
going with you around the world. And that's its own travel style, because there's a lot of things you have to think about when you're going to take that travel style. And we'll talk about that in a future video.
Like owning a lot less stuff.
or carrying all 8 bags that you own on your back.
Drone and camera gear and clothes.
Running gear and very little clothing and no underwear. There's no room for that.
And then the next item is...
The next one is Longstay, which is what we do, which is where we hunker down in a community, an Airbnb. Some people do it with house swaps. I haven't really seen anyone do really long-term in hostels. And you just kind of hang out in that one location for as long as you want.
And the cool part about it is that you really do, you get to stay as long as you want, and you get to take advantage of the local culture, maybe get to know your neighbors.
Local friends. I mean, there's just so many advantages. We've really enjoyed it, and we're not venturing out into something different because we're not enjoying it anymore. It's just because we want to try something else, right?
Right, we're gonna miss our local coffee shop.
We are. And number 4.
Number 4 is...
Think cruise ship, only much smaller.
No.
Motorboat.
On a sailboat.
Sailboat.
It is, I think, every person with a wanderlust who does not get seasick has this ultimate dream of living on a sailboat and just living by the way the wind blows. And it is the ultimate way of discovery of yourself and of nature. I mean,
and
this
small
planet,
space you can live in with other people with no backyard.
Right, you can bring a cat, they can be
we
trained.
We even have friends who've taken off and gone sailing and they don't even know how to sail, so they take lessons, right?
This planet is 2/3 water. Take advantage of all that real estate that no one else is on.
So we have our 4 options: motor vanning, camper van, RV, whatever you want to call it, backpacking, long stay, and sailing. Do any one of those seem like one we might be considering between?
But before we go there, let's talk about one of the things you have to consider, or one of the things, a lot of the things you have to consider.
A lot of things you have to consider. And what do you think's top on that list? Help us out, Will.
Money.
Money.
Budget.
Spoken like an accountant. But yeah, and you know, that's really, really important. You're not going any place if you don't know your budget or if you have no budget, right?
Right. I mean, you can only go as far as your bank account will take you.
So let's say you have millions of dollars, then go get that sailboat, take the lessons, go get that yacht, take the lessons, hire the captain. But if you only have a couple thousand, then you're backpacking and tenting it and woofing and couch surfing, go for it. But you got to figure out which style meets your budget.
Right. Budget does not prohibit you from travel. It just limits how you can travel.
Or it changes which style is best for you, right?
Right.
All right. What else is on that list, Will?
Privacy. Do you feel like maybe you need just a little bit more space because staying in a hostel or staying on
someone's couch, right? Can you do that?
Right, and sharing a meal with some guy you just met five minutes ago.
Can you share a bathroom? Can you share a shower? Those are all things you need to think about.
Are you trusting?
Does it bother you if you hear someone else that's snoring all night? I mean, those are all, is the music downstairs at the hostel too loud? Those are all things you absolutely have to consider.
And all that becomes exponentially increased when you have kids, because you also have to consider that part.
Right, although ours have, we don't pamper to them too much, so they've become really great at sleeping with a lot of
But there's a lot more to
noise
break through.
There's
a lot more to consider.
There absolutely is.
A lot more people to manage through.
Absolutely.
The expectations.
Okay, are you gonna get seasick or motion sickness? Do you wanna be in a car or a boat all day? I don't know, maybe not.
But on a sailboat, you're not moving around the sailboat all day unless you're crossing something.
Right,
If you're
crossing
down, you're okay.
and you're seasick, forget it.
If you're in an RV and all you're doing
escape.
is driving around, I don't,
But at least in the RV,
then you're not seeing where
but in the
you're
RV
going.
you can pull over and get out, right? On the sailboat,
Right.
there's no getting out.
Right. And then there's the internet. Do you
The internet.
have to work online? Do you have to educate your kids online? Or can you get it off the grid completely for a week on end?
Right, because I mean, here's the thing. If you're in an RV or a sailboat, from what I've heard, we've never done either one, but what I've heard is internet can be spotty. It can be hit or miss depending on where you are. For us, that would have been a real challenge the last 3 years. And it's been really important for us to be in a location long term and have internet for school and for work. And even then, right, we've had problems.
Like me, yeah, there is nothing worse than having to go to a meeting or having to be online, having a deadline, and having that internet just not work out. And there's a reason why I have short hair, because I've pulled them all out.
I've seen a grown man come to almost tears without having the internet. So if that is really something that is key to your survival and your ability to be able to continue this travel lifestyle, you need to figure out which travel style fits that best. And so far, we have found it to be the long stays.
Now there are ways around everything, and we'll talk about that
and we found
later videos about how to create redundant systems and how to make sure you have
when we start talking
internet.
about tech and travel.
Now
my favorite.
Now we're getting interesting. but yeah, there's ways around that. But you want to be sure, because the last thing you want to do is ruin that gravy train of money coming in.
Yeah, then you're done. So definitely internet. And then stuff. how much stuff do you have? None of us
You're asking me?
have that much stuff.
I have a lot of stuff.
I think we mentioned that already in this video. This is a reoccurring theme.
We do have a lot of stuff.
So you have to think about that. If you're going to be backpacking, you only have so much space that you can fit your stuff in. So if you can't part with your stuff, maybe an RV or a sailboat might be a better option, or even a long stay.
You always tell yourself that you can live without this stuff, and you don't know how much you can live without until you actually live without it.
And we've downsized quite a bit.
We have, but we can do better.
And I'm going to give you a little hint. I think we're even going to downsize even more for our next adventure, right?
We are.
Some of us are.
We are.
Some of us may not.
Not camera gear.
Some of us may need therapy for downsizing, if anyone knows anyone.
It's rough. it's really rough. And then the last thing is routine. Do you cherish your routines?
Yes, yeah. So some of these, I mean, there's no routine at all. Backpacking, there's very little routine to that. Things are changing constantly. We have a pretty set routine in our long stays. I mean, and not because, I don't think it's because
it changes everywhere we go.
We're not, yes, but we have a consistent routine, would you say, for at least 9 months or so?
For the most part. I mean, you have to find your local grocery store, you have to find, you know, a local coffee shop.
But once you find that,
you sort of hunker down and you live that life for a while. If you need that and you can't live without a set routine, then that maybe eliminates, you know, the whole backpacking thing.
And RVing might be difficult for you because you're constantly having to find the gas station, the grocery store, good Wi-Fi, great coffee, all that stuff. And you know, for us, you know, I always considered myself a particularly routine-driven person, but I don't think I am.
And as an accountant, you know, there's no better definition of a routine-driven person than accountant.
But we're changing. We're getting better, and let me tell you, the next step
we're mixing it up.
We're throwing it all out the window. So if you really want to watch us, if we are truly routine-driven people and we can't be flexible at all, you're going to watch us completely fall apart on these WorldTowning 101 and WorldTowning Up Close in the next 2 months. So it might be entertaining.
So we're changing.
Right? We're changing our travel style.
And there's a couple reasons for that.
We hit the lotto and we're buying the yacht and we're going sailing, right?
No.
So the reason we're changing up is one, because of the kids. Yeah, they're getting the ants in their pants around 3 months, 6 months for sure, and by 7 months they're ready to try something new. And here's the thing, one of the things we're choosing before they have been begging us to do for years.
And then number two, because this world is too big and we only have so many years, like we've always said, until the kids go off to college, and
we want to see more of it.
We want to see it with
them.
So
with more of it with them. And we've got to speed it up a bit, guys. We got to go a little faster because this hunkering down for 9-10 months.
It's been great.
We're going to be dead before we see like the world.
But we have to speed things up. So
all right,
we're going to do more.
Let's get to the really good part. What are we deciding between? All right, guys, it was always one thing. And now, a couple months ago, we threw something else into the mix because we've seen other families doing it. We're like, would this be an option too?
And it's one is what we talked about. The other one's a hybrid.
Yeah.
Of what we've talked about.
Yes, yes. So one is camper van, RV, caravan, Europe. That's number one.
That's going to require a lot of downsizing, and it's going to require us to get comfortable being in a really small space, even smaller than we have now.
There's a lot of logistics with it that we're going to give a whole video to because it's crazy. But number two, so RVing was the one that we've been wanting to do forever, and we were pretty set on it, and the kids wanted to do it. And then we added in option number two, which is
option number two is traveling faster,
backpacking, but Europe again. I'm excited. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm cutting you off.
But in like it's almost like a long stay / backpacking. So what that means is we're going to stay in a place for a month at a time, but we're going to be traveling with less on what we can carry. And so we're going to have
switching locations
the best
every
of
month.
The hybrid of minimalism, but we're still going to stay in a place, but we're going to stay in a place that's familiar.
Yes. So
we're going to try and make friends.
We're gonna that's going to be hard. I mean, only a month.
I know.
I'll make it work.
We're good at that, though.
So we're going to hunker down in probably going to switch a country a month, and in Europe, probably mostly Eastern Europe for a year. So those are our two options, and guys, we're really torn. I mean, so how can they help us, Will? How can you guys help us?
So what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks is this. We're going to start looking at different options online. We're going to look at different RVs. We're going to start considering what it could be, what we need to do to start backpacking.
We're going to look at Airbnbs, and we're going to share it all on Insta Story.
We're going to bring on maybe some experts to talk about maybe the pros and cons.
Some therapists to help us decide. Oh, that's not what you meant for air experts?
And I think we may bring on the kids to talk about what they want as well, because they are a huge component of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why we're in France. We let them pick, and they picked France over Spain. Will and I wanted Spain, but we let them decide on our third country. So there's a ton of factors involved, and we're not going to get into all of them right now. But
it's going to be a cool ride. We're going to take you along with us, and we're really excited for this.
Yeah, so either one we do, you're going to be with us through the whole thing, because when we made our other moves, we weren't really vlogging that much. If we were, it was on a very small scale. So we're going to take you to look at RVs, to look at apartments online. We're going to talk about the logistics, the finances, how we're going to handle schooling, internet, tech stuff, everything that goes,
it
languages.
It all starts with this vlog coming up.
Yes.
The one this weekend. So check it out. We're going to stop this right here because we can go on forever, but we don't have that much time.
Yes, wait, you've got to elaborate on that more though.
What?
This weekend's vlog, we're going to actually go and do something to already start learning about one of the routes.
One of the routes.
So you've got to make sure you watch a video on, when's it going to come up? Sunday?
Sunday probably.
Probably Sunday night.
When they all come out.
All right.
All right, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, put that notice alarm button to make sure you get notifications when they come out.
Give us some comments. What do you think? I mean, are we crazy? Should we go camper vanning? Should we be switching apartments every month? What should we do?
Yeah.
We need some help.
We do. Yeah, I know what I want, I think.
What do you want? Are you keeping it a secret?
Kind of.
You are?
Yeah. All right.
I kind of have one I like too, and I think the kids do too, but we're all kind of like,
yeah.
You know, anyway.
All right, so we're gonna end this here. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time on WorldTowning 101. And remember to pick your style, how it suits you.
Yes.
Because
and your
this
budget.
world is just too small to stay in one place.
Absolutely.
Happy travels.
Au revoir.
Ciao. We're not traveling fast enough. This world is too small, and our life is too short.
Yeah.
All the way around, sorry. This world is too big, and our life is too short.
That's it, baby.
Right, but for every tit there's a tat, basically. Because you do want to travel to see the world.
And so...